Hey, this is the beginning of the Dalton Highway. I'm in Prudhoe Bay. It's the Arctic Ocean, and this is meter zero of the Dalton Highway. It's almost raining. It's been raining for the last 30 minutes, and now hopefully it stops. And this is day one of a long trip. First few videos you're gonna see, they need a bit of context because they've been shot right at the start of my trip. And what happened is that the last 2 months before the trip, I prepared everything and I didn't have any experience, so I was living on information overload, loads of negativity from people I reached out from in the Facebook group about bike touring, and the only really supportive person was Alastair Humphreys. They did a round the world tour and is a famous adventurer from the UK, and he really helped me reframing my mindset and to really actually get to Alaska. So again, it's this is vlogging about day one of my trip back in the 13th of August 2015. That's when I started my trip. And again, the first day I injured my knee, my right knee, and so when I took this video, I was basically resting in the Arctic, and I knew I couldn't stay there. So, and also like from the preparation that has been very stressful, it's the video is very negative, and now I'm in a totally different place, and had I had to start again my trip now, it would be totally different. I would enjoy it more, but I didn't have any experience back then, and I didn't have any preparation, any training. No camping experience, no bike touring experience, and so you need to contextualize this. And if you like my video, just leave a comment and subscribe to my channel. Ciao! Hey, it's still Davide, Alaska to Patagonia, still in the same tent, and today I wanna talk to you about the trip to Alaska and the first day. So on Tuesday the 11th August 2015 I left Milan and to Frankfurt, and then Frankfurt Anchorage. In Anchorage you have to clear all your luggage through custom. So I had to collect my bike, and I went through custom and it was fine. They opened the box of the bike, and I closed it with a tape they supplied, and it was perfectly fine. Then I went to check it in for the following flight from Anchorage to Prudhoe Bay, Deadhorse. And when I got on the plane, and apparently this plane is like a bus service, because it goes from Anchorage to Barrow, from Barrow to Deadhorse, which is in Prudhoe Bay, and from Deadhorse to Barrow. So it's basically a kind of a shuttle service, and it's more like a bus service for the works in Barrow and in Deadhorse. Nobody lives in Prudhoe Bay, so all the people that are there
usually do 1 or 2 weeks shifts, and then they go back, and most of them they live in Anchorage, so they all take this plane every week or every 2 weeks, 3 weeks. How long is their shift? But no, absolutely nobody lives in Prudhoe Bay. I arrived in Prudhoe Bay, and luckily the manager of the hotel I was staying to, which is Brook Camps Hotel, picked me up. So she arrived with a pickup, and I loaded my bike on the back and all my luggage. And the hotel is it looks like it's made out of containers, but inside it's really nice. It's basic, but it's clean, it's comfortable, and the people are very welcoming and nice. And it's a bit expensive, but it included in the day rate. You have loads of food. You have 3 meals a day, and access to something they call it the spike room, which is like a grocery store that is open, like a daily shop that is open 24/7, and you can go there and make yourself a tea or a cappuccino, or you find fresh fruit, celery, carrots, all sort of sandwich, cereals, yogurt, water, soft drinks, donuts, cereal bars, all sorts of cereals, soups. There is absolutely everything, and it's open 24/7. And obviously, I did ride the spike room a few times. Mostly, I got cereal bars for my trip. I got quite a good number, and they will last a few days. I arrived there on the 11th night at 10 o'clock, and I brought the bike up to my room, and I started to fit it together. And then when I realized during the last leg of the trip, when I checked in my luggage in Anchorage, they must have opened the bike again, because I saw the tape of the custom that was cut, and there was some duct tape that I didn't put, and I realized that they didn't close it properly, so the wheels moved, and somewhere, maybe in Deadhorse or maybe in Anchorage, when they load the bike got damaged. The wheels are not true anymore, and the brakes disc, they are all bended. There's some big scratch, and I think a little dent on the frame, and then the rest is all cosmetics damages. So I thought, okay, the plan was I spend the night there, and in the morning I leave immediately. But putting together the bike in the night, it took a long time, and I realized also I had to repack my clothes, because they weren't really, it was all put together, bike, days of clothes, and it was a bit too overwhelming. And when I finished to put together the bike, I realized it was very late. So I slept a few hours, woke up, and then I started to pack again, but I realized the time was running, and it would have been a bit stupid to leave all stressed like that. So I decided to stay an extra night, and again I left the packing till the last minute, and it took longer than expected. I had the chance to launch the website, to make the first blog post, and that was good. And another mistake in retrospective was to engage a little bit with social media. It made me lose a couple of hours, I think. And at the end, taking pictures with the staff of the hotel and things like that, I left Brooks camp. That was 20 past 1, I think, in the afternoon. And the road was really bad from the beginning. It was like the bike was overloaded and it would sink into the gravel, and at times the bike would lose balance, and it would wobble, and I would use my hands, my shoulder and my legs to balance it, not to fall, especially when there was big trucks going by. The result is that I injured my right knee pretty much within the first 10 miles, and it's been very dramatic, because I knew that now I will carry this injury for a long time. And so that was it. 1:20 when I left. About 9 in the night, I was starting to feel really tired. I could not take the pain in my right knee anymore, and I was starting to find a place to camp. But for 100 miles from Prudhoe Bay, there is only the road goes through the Tundra, and it's wetlands. There is water everywhere, so it's not like you can go in the field and pitch your tent. You need to find a place where there is like a side of the road where they put some gravel, but it's not really advisable because you're very exposed. And I realized that when around 9, I thought, okay, let's find a place where to pitch the tent. And I look on my right, and there is a bear, and it's about 200-300 meters away from me, about 300 more likely. And I stopped, and then when I saw the bear, I started pedaling again, and slowly but surely the bear followed me for about 5 minutes, and I was a bit scared. I have bear spray, and I have a bear horn with me, but still I was scared. And I kept going until about an hour later. On my right there is another bear. This was a big bear, and it was very close. It was about like 150 meters from me, but luckily he didn't follow me. So I kept going for another while until around 11:30. I found a camp from a company that they do drilling surveys, and they have all those containers, and they have a camp set up. And I tried to find someone that was not asleep, and I talked to the manager there, and he told me he wasn't sure, for liability problem, if I could use their one of their floors in the conference room or something. But he did let me pitch my tent under a big tent they have, where they had loads of electrical probes or things like that, and he just told me not to mess with anything. I pitched my tent there, and I think I didn't even bother to put the fly, so it was very quick. Get organized, a bit of food, and I got my stuff sorted from my panniers, and I was fast asleep. I was trying to send a message to my family through the satellite tracker, but I couldn't. I gave up, and I fell asleep. I was so tired. I was up almost 24 hours because the night before I got up at 1, working through my website and everything. And then I got up and that's it. So that's day 1, the account of day 1. So click on day 2 if you wanna hear the rest of the story.